Hey mama and mama to be, welcome to the podcast. My name is Jocelyn and today we are going to talk about birth and when it doesn't go as planned. So this is probably geared a little more towards women who have already had babies that their birth did not go as they wanted. But I think even if you're pregnant, you can get some good tips from this episode because a lot of times we have it in our heads how we would like our births to go, and sometimes it just does not work that way. So either listen to this episode or come back to this episode if your birth doesn't go as planned. Either way, there is a lot to learn in these mental tools and emotional helps especially. Hi, I'm Jocelyn, fellow mom of 5 and host of the Positivity in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast. I help pregnant women and mothers to find the positivity in their season of life through changing their thoughts to work for them and not against them. I help mothers find the small, doable steps in thought and action without making drastic changes to their everyday mom life. And I can help you. Let's find positivity during our pregnancies and in our motherhood together. Thanks for joining. The other day I was talking with someone who had a friend who her birth didn't go as planned. And my heart just went out for her, and I wanted to send her my episodes. I know I've talked about this before, but when I title searched, I could not find that I had a title, an episode titled this, and so I guess it's high time that we get to it again. Talking about when birth doesn't go as planned. Now, this can be very frustrating, especially if you put a lot of work and effort into your birth. Like you prepared all of your pregnancy and then things just didn't go as planned. Maybe you had preeclampsia at the end that changed things. Maybe you ended up getting induced when you didn't want to be induced, or you did the epidural when you didn't want to do the epidural, or you ended up having a C-section and you were hoping for a vaginal birth. There are a lot of things that can come up and pop up and make birth go differently than you hoped or expected. Now, this can be really frustrating. It can be heavy and it can be disappointed. And in this episode, I'm going to give you 3 things or tips to do to help you with this emotional, I guess you could call it trauma, anxiety, stress from the birth not going the way that you desired it to go. The first thing is to feel it. This is so powerful, but it is so hard. Nobody wants to intentionally or voluntarily feel negative emotion and frustration, heaviness, disappointment, stress. Those are all negative emotions. It is not fun to feel those. But if you keep shoving them down and trying to avoid them, it's going to get heavier, and it can just add up to either where you explode or manifest in different ways, such as sicknesses. We don't want to hold on to this negative emotion. So I want you to just feel it, just sit in it. I am so frustrated I was not able to do that birth without the epidural. I'm so frustrated I was having preeclampsia and I had to induce the baby earlier. Or whatever it is, feel those emotions. Now, this is also something that you might have to do more than once. It's not always a once and done thing. In fact, oftentimes it does take significant repetition to release these negative feelings. But as you allow yourself to feel these negative emotions, it allows you to release it. It's called Feel It to Heal It. And I actually have a video on my website that I have done in helping you go through this specific exercise with negative emotions related to pregnancy, or as you're finding out in this episode, it can relate to birth too. In fact, it can relate to any time you're feeling negative emotion and just frustrated. It does help to just get those emotions out by feeling them. It's a lot easier to release them as you feel them. So feel it to heal it. That is the first step in healing when your birth doesn't go as planned, healing mentally. Number 2 is to give yourself grace. What does it even mean to give yourself grace? It means to let yourself be okay with what you could do. Maybe you could not, you had to get the epidural, which you didn't want to do, but you did have a baby. You do have a healthy baby. So give yourself grace in this, that there are things in these situations like birth that are beyond your control. Like preeclampsia might be beyond your control, or something that your doctor recommends and you didn't realize that you had more of a voice when it came to what you wanted and didn't want with your birth. So give yourself grace, mama. Just let it go. Don't let it be so heavy. Tell yourself it's okay. I did what I could in this situation. I know with induction contractions, so maybe you didn't want to be induced, but because of preeclampsia or maybe something else, you had to be induced. The induction contractions are way more intense than your own body's contractions. I know this because I was induced with my second baby, and at a 4, I was dying for the epidural. And then baby 3, I went into labor with my own contractions, and it was like I was like at a 7 or 8 until I was like really feeling like I needed that epidural. And I still wish I hadn't have gotten that epidural with that third baby, but I did. So nonetheless, I'm just saying you can learn from these experiences. It actually took me 3 births to get to a birth where I did it without the epidural. But even then, that 4th birth was pretty traumatic. It took me till baby 5 to have a non-medicated birth that wasn't traumatic. Like, these things are so long-term. What I mean by long-term is it takes 9 months to grow a baby. And then usually you don't get pregnant again for a couple years or so, depending on the family spacing you and your husband have decided on, or whatever God gives you, I guess. Nonetheless, it takes a long time. And it can feel like, oh, that was my one time to show that I could birth the baby the way I wanted to, and it just didn't work. It is okay, mama. Step number 2 is to give yourself grace. You did what you could. Honestly, with that second birth where I was induced, I did do what I could. And that is all we could do. My first birth ended up being an emergency C-section, which is something I never ever wanted. Nonetheless, me and my baby are both still here. Excuse me. And that baby is actually a teenager now, which is amazing. And that's actually going to lead us to step 3. And that is to focus on what did go right. Gratitude for the good. So with my first baby, everything went wrong. I was dying. My baby was dying. It was very traumatic. I was in the hospital for a week. He was in the hospital for 2.5 months. And it was a hard season. It was very difficult, but there are things that went right. He and I are both still here. Our lives were saved. And modern medicine is incredible. Without modern medicine, we wouldn't be here. And I am so grateful for that modern medicine. I'm grateful for a doctor who did such an amazing job and did the C-section in a way that I was more able to have more kids. In fact, after that C-section, I have been able to vaginally deliver my next 4 babies. So there are things that went right. So maybe you did end up with the epidural, but what went right? Like, what went good during that time? You were probably a little more relaxed. You were maybe able to get some sleep. There are things that, like little miracles you can notice that went right. And especially that sweet little baby. Healthy mom, healthy baby is such a good thing. And having both of you here, sometimes it is good to just let go of what happened and relish in that you have a sweet little one here on earth to love and to hold, to take care of, and you are a mom, and it is so beautiful. So focus instead of, I'm going to say that sentence again. Instead of focusing on what went wrong, I want you to focus on what went right, the things that went good, the gratitude for what happened that was right and good. So those are my main 3 tips for you as someone who has been there when my birth didn't go as planned, like several times. Follow these tips and they will help you. So I'm just going to summarize them. The first tip is to feel it to heal it. So feel those negative emotions. The second tip is to give yourself grace. You did what you could. And the third tip is to focus on what went right instead of what went wrong and find gratitude for the good. Mama, having a baby is a lot of work. Pregnancy was a lot of work, but having a newborn is also a lot of work. But you can do it. God is there. He is helping you in this journey. And you know what? You have people around you who love you, who want to help you in this journey. Don't be afraid to ask them for help. We will chat again next week. And I am appreciative when you share this podcast. Also, when you give it a rating and review. I know there are quite a few of you who have been listening to my podcast lately. And I would appreciate it if you are on iTunes to go at least give it stars, even if you don't rate it, even if you don't review it, like write something about it, give it a stars, the rating. That does help other people find it. And I would so at the same time. I would so sure appreciate it. Anyway, we will chat again next week, Mama. I know you can do this. God knows you can do this, and you are a stronger woman because of what you've had to go through for birth. Until next time. Thank you for being a part of the Positivity in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast, for listening, for sharing, and most of all, for applying these tools into your own life to improve your own happiness, so that you can find your own better thoughts and becoming the mother that you desire to be through taking small steps in thought and action to reach your goals. If you are a mother who has an inner desire to enjoy motherhood and pregnancy better, but you are having difficulty figuring it out, I can help you. Thanks for joining. Reach out, let's connect, and let's see you move forward in your motherhood. My name is Jocelyn, and I thank you for listening. Until next time.